Bitcoin is currently struggling to stay above its all-time high, but it looks like Dogecoin wants to go on a run. But what's happening and what's going to push us higher? I don't know. Before we get into it, I just want to fight a little bit of FUD with a lot of people saying that we might be seeing a double top or maybe even a triple top here for the Bitcoin price. If we saw that happen, that could definitely send us down drastically, but let me just tell you why I don't think that's going to happen. If you go back and look at history, you can see that usually whenever we do reach the previous all-time high, we struggle with it a little bit and then we might even be getting rejected. Here you can see that we did get rejected previously in 2017, making a 32% retracement before things actually started to go super parabolic. But if you tried to trade this little bit of a dip, then you really might have missed the biggest gainers of the whole bull market, because this thing moved really quickly, and if you didn't time that bottom really perfectly, then you'd be chasing candles on the way up. With all of these institutions pouring billions of dollars into Bitcoin, I don't think that we're going to be seeing a triple or double top formation, and while we might have a little bit of a retracement, I think it's going to be really dangerous to trade that, because I think things are about to explode as we see a supply crunch coming in. Going back to the daily chart for the current price range on Bitcoin, you can see that about a 30% dip would bring us down to this previous level of resistance that we actually haven't come back down to turn into support, which could be around the high $40,000 range, but we could turn $50,000 into support there before bouncing and going parabolic after that, because 50,000 is a very psychological level. I'm not saying that I think we're going to be doing that necessarily, because like I said, we've never seen these institutions buying up Bitcoin like this, and any little bit of a dip is obviously just going to be getting snatched up really quickly, because that's what we've been seeing ever since those ETFs were approved. But why is Bitcoin struggling to make it above its all-time high? Well, I think that maybe one of the biggest reasons is because Coinbase just keeps going down. Every time it reaches the all-time high, Coinbase crashes right after that, and then Bitcoin drops like 10% or something close to that. We've seen that happen 3 times in the past couple of weeks, and in my opinion, everybody should just stop using Coinbase, period. Brian Armstrong has kind of stood up for the crypto community, but I think that's just because he has a business to try to grow, and he's just like every other businessman. They're all trying to make profits, and now he's in with the likes of BlackRock, so they're probably just manipulating the price. How do you think they are manipulating the price though? Well, they're using your cryptocurrency that you've stored on their exchange, and then they're using it to short sell or pump up the price and try to scare people into panic selling so that they can scoop up all of your Bitcoin on the cheap and pump up the price with BlackRock. They can't continue to manipulate the price this much forever though, because we are going to see a supply crunch, and there's only so much Bitcoin that they can actually manipulate retail investors into selling to them. And since BlackRock has some of the biggest pockets in the world, I don't think small retail investors like you and me are going to be enough of a supply for BlackRock to scoop up all of the Bitcoin that they want. Like I said, that means they're going to have to buy directly from the market, because the exchanges and the OTC desks are all drying up. And now that we've reached the all-time high for the first time before the halving happened, it looks like people are now eyeing $100,000 as the next price target before maybe even we hit the halving. If you don't know, or you're maybe new to cryptocurrency, the halving is whenever the block reward for Bitcoin gets cut in half. And that means that whenever someone verifies transactions, they basically get a reward for that, and that reward is being cut in half, meaning that the inflation rate for all of Bitcoin is being cut in half. This is coming probably right before the Fed starts turning back on the money printer, and the inflation rate for the US dollar goes right back up through the roof. And it looks like retail investors see what's happening, because now they're starting to cautiously return to crypto, according to this article on The Defiant. It says indicators show rising interest from casual investors, but they still aren't aping in yet. This might be why we're starting to see Dogecoin rising, but as it says, retail is not entirely back yet. So this could just be the very beginning, and since Dogecoin pumped more than 100% last week, I think as retail investors start to come back into the market, we could be seeing some really big gainers in the weeks ahead. Also, we now have the states like Wyoming trying to become the crypto capital of something again. It looks like this time they're going for DAOs. And this was something that we already saw starting to happen in the last bull market, but it kind of slowed down during the bear market, so this is a good sign that we are back. But what's even bigger than that is that we have massive countries like China and Russia that are pouring their money into cryptocurrency, because as this article on Forbes says, more dangerous than nukes, China and Russia reveal be suddenly abandoning the US dollar for a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP inspired rival amid cryptocurrency price pump. So it looks like some of the biggest economies in the world are going to be ditching the US dollar, and they might be adopting cryptocurrency as a replacement. This is one of the only things that could possibly push us up higher than the biggest asset managers in the world like BlackRock getting into crypto. And I do think that this is the beginning of a worldwide shift into cryptocurrency technology, but it is going to take some time for it to unfold. It looks like the Federal Reserve is going to start accelerating things, though, probably, because according to this article on frbservices.org, the Federal Reserve Board is announcing the end of its bank term funding program, which I've actually mentioned before. This is a really big deal because this is what's been holding up the banking sector for the past year since we saw those banking collapses a year ago. And that's coming to an end right around the time that we're starting to see cracks forming again in the banking sector. Here it says, on January 24th, 2024, the Federal Reserve Board announced off-site that the Bank Term Funding Program, or BTFP, will cease making new loans as scheduled on March 11th, 2024. With it being the 9th, that means that we've just got 2 more days to go, and we might start seeing these cracks starting to widen in the banking sector because commercial real estate is continuing to put pressure on all of these banks, and now we might be seeing some contagion spreading, and we've already seen banks like New York Community Bank Corp having some real issues, but they just got bailed out for $1 billion, and it looks like they might be the last ones to be bailed out on this bank term funding program. So if we continue to see more banks struggling after the next couple of days, then it looks like they're not going to have this safety net. And as we saw last year, whenever Silicon Valley Bank and the like were starting to collapse, this could cause a real contagion effect that could accelerate quickly, and as people start to panic, they're going to be doing bank runs again, and that's when the Fed is going to have to act, adding a whole bunch of money to their balance sheet and inflating the dollar right out of existence. If you think I'm blowing things out of proportion, just listen to it straight from the mouth of Jerome Powell. He said this 2 days ago.
This is a problem that we'll be working on for years more, I'm sure. There will be bank failures, but this is not the big banks. If you look at the very big banks, it's not a first order issue for any of the very large banks. It's more, smaller and medium-sized banks that have these issues.
So it looks like Jerome Powell is ready to start letting these regional banks collapse, and he wants to consolidate all of the power into the hands of these big banks like JP Morgan. These are some important steps leading up to the release of the CBDC that the Fed is going to use to control your life and put you on a social credit score system. And the only way to escape that is through decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I'm not really so sure why Dogecoin is accelerating right now. There are a lot of memes, but it doesn't look like there's really any news or developments. Hopefully it is just retail investors coming back into the market and realizing that it's probably time for them to start escaping the traditional finance system. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Is Dogecoin going to be the people's cryptocurrency, and is it going to be a good option for escaping the CBDCs? And do you think we're going to see a rapid acceleration in bank failures after this Fed funding program ends in a couple of days? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and follow me over on X at Only Good Channel. But most importantly, don't forget to do only good every day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.